What do you do when the person your ex-wife starts dating is someone your own daughters call uncle? On March 3, 2026, Nicole Kidman walked a red carpet in New York holding hands with Simon Baker, and Keith Urban's world fell apart. The Scarpetta premiere wasn't just another celebrity moment. It was the public confirmation of a romance that had been building while they were filming together. And it hit Keith so hard that insiders said this was his worst nightmare. But here's what makes this sting more than any normal breakup. Simon Baker wasn't some random actor Nicole met on set. He'd been like an uncle to Sunday and Faith since they were babies. He was part of their family's inner circle, and Keith had trusted him completely. We're going to break down what happened at the Scarpetta premiere, why Keith felt so blindsided, and what this actually reveals about a marriage that seemed perfect to the world. Stay with us for the story of how one red carpet moment shattered everything Keith thought was settled. The timeline matters here. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban finalized their divorce in January 2026, ending 19 years of marriage. They had 2 daughters together. Sunday was 17, Faith was 15. By all accounts, the split was supposed to be amicable. Keith gave up his rock and roll lifestyle for Nicole. He called her Hokulani, a Hawaiian name meaning beloved. They had a double shower with separate heads. Nicole joked it was the key to their marriage. They seemed like the definition of a successful Hollywood couple. But in September, something shifted. Nicole filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. And the official separation became the beginning of what nobody knew was coming. Nicole started working on a new Amazon Prime series called Scarpetta. She played a medical examiner. Her co-star was Simon Baker, the Australian actor known for The Mentalist. On the surface, they were just 2 actors working together. But what Keith didn't know during filming was that something else was happening. Nicole wasn't just acting next to Simon Baker. She was leaning on him. Literally. According to insiders, they had a chemistry on set that went beyond professional. They were getting close. And the worst part for Keith? Simon Baker knew him, not just in passing. Simon had been like an uncle to Sunday and Faith for years. He was close to Nicole's circle. He knew what would hurt Keith just by being seen with Nicole in that way. Fast forward to March 3, 2026. The Scarpetta premiere at a Manhattan venue, and there it was. The photo that changed everything. Nicole Kidman and Simon Baker holding hands on the red carpet. Not casual, not deniable, hand in hand. Nicole in a sophisticated gown, Simon looking at her with clear affection. Simon joked, "I don't kiss and tell." Nicole smiled. The rumor was confirmed. As a red carpet debut, and here's why this was different from normal celebrity romance news. Simon Baker wasn't just any actor. He wasn't a stranger. He was someone Keith had welcomed into his family's life. Someone Nicole was friends with for decades. In fact, Nicole was godmother to Simon's son, Harry. Nicole was so close to Simon's ex-wife, Rebecca, that she said they were like the same person. This wasn't a new relationship between 2 strangers colliding in Hollywood. This was someone from their inner circle making a move on his ex-wife in front of the world. According to insiders close to Keith, he was reeling. An insider told Woman's Day magazine, "Seeing Nicole and Simon holding hands was the equivalent of seeing his best mate with his missus, and it did a number on him." That's the language Keith's team was using. Not heartbreak, betrayal, because Keith had trusted Simon. He had let Simon into his home. He had watched his daughters bond with him. And now that man was holding his ex-wife's hand on a red carpet. But it got worse. Keith had actually suspected something during filming. He knew they were getting close while they were working on Scarpetta together. But seeing it confirmed in photographs, hearing them talk about the chemistry in interviews, that was different. That was real. That was public. And it hurt. The insiders kept talking about what Keith had agreed to with Nicole. They said he was hoping Simon and Nicole were just hamming it up for headlines. But even if they were just performing, It felt like a betrayal to him because both Nicole and Simon knew how much even the hint of a romance between them would hurt him. And that's where the real devastation lived. Because the girls, Sunday and Faith, were already giving Keith the silent treatment since the split. They had taken Nicole's side after the divorce. His relationship with them was already fractured. But now, if Nicole was starting a relationship with Simon Baker, that posed what insiders called a real threat. Because Sunday and Faith absolutely adored Simon. He'd been like a fun uncle to them since they were babies. He was potentially becoming a permanent fixture in their lives as Nicole's partner. Keith understood something that made this even more painful. He knew better than anyone how much Nicole used to lean on him in those moments on red carpets. When she was nervous, when she needed support, she would take his hand. And now, she was doing that with Simon Baker. The gesture that used to mean something between them had been transferred to someone else. Someone Keith had introduced to his daughters. Someone who had been in their family's life for years. She said she was focused on family and work, but then in March, boom, she's holding hands with Simon Baker on a red carpet. The insiders close to Keith said he was even hoping they were just for show at first. That Nicole and Simon were just playing it up for the cameras and the headlines. But the more evidence came out, the more interviews they gave, the more it became clear. This was real, and his worst nightmare had come true. Not just that his wife had moved on, but that she'd moved on with someone from their inner circle, someone his daughters loved, someone who could now become their stepfather-like figure without Keith ever seeing it coming. What Keith didn't know when the marriage ended was that there was another version of events playing out. While he thought the split was about irreconcilable differences, Nicole had apparently decided that she was done with famous men and their insecurities. She had made new dating rules. She was done with actors and celebrities. She wanted someone from outside the industry, someone who could handle her career demanding everything. And somewhere along the way, it seems Simon Baker had become that person, not because he was unknown, but because he understood the industry, understood her circle, and had already proven he could be trusted around the family. The red carpet moment on March 3rd wasn't the accident Keith wanted to believe it was. It was a statement. Nicole wasn't hiding. Simon wasn't sneaking around. They were announcing it. And Keith's world, which he thought was settling into post-divorce stability, exploded all over again. Like this video if Nicole and Simon's bold red carpet debut shocked you. Subscribe if you follow Hollywood's biggest breakups and the drama that unfolds after.